Yeah. Be what I.
Good evening.
B, how's my sound? Because you know I had to redo the whole shebang today.
It's fine.
The same as usual?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had to redo the whole, reset the whole situation in the studio today. But we're good. Solid. All right, man. We might have some additional visitors. We might have some more people added to the panel. We shall see. But man, we got a lot to discuss. We have obviously covered the Verizon piece. Yesterday we got AT&T. Today we got T-Mobile. We actually got Comcast too. B, do you think it's worth mentioning the Comcast results? Should we cover them?
No, it's up to you, man. Yeah.
I mean, I find it applicable because of, you know, we cover all things telco, including the home broadband providers. And now with providers all kind of being gray, mobile, you know, home broadband as well, everybody's got convergence, right? So I don't know. I feel like it's relative, right?
That's fine.
All right. Brandon Woody.
Woody, sir.
What's happening?
Nothing much.
Good to have you, man. Thanks for coming by. We got Brandon. We got B. Up. There it goes. Dusty with breaks the seal. Super chat. Very active news week. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Absolutely is. And we're trying to cover everything. You know, we always do. I try to be your one-stop shop for all things telco, from plans to devices and network and service and, you know, carrier and corporate operations and strategy. And I try to cover all things. Wireless, home broadband, the whole thing. Thank you, man. Appreciate all your support as a member, and I think also on Patreon. Appreciate you. All right, let's do some hellos. Saw some people in here. MS is in the house. Ascending, what up, my guy? Kitsune, cheers. My brother Ciprioni's in the house. Vartan, what up, Vartan? Mr. Ice is in the house. Network Nerd is here. Dusty, my dude. Speed Test Channel's here as well. Loyal to Houston's here. Yo, shout out to Houston, right, B?
Yep.
Man, getting realer in the wireless industry. I'd say true to that. I think all fake things being exposed and all real things standing on 10 toes. Yeah. What up, Toolman 1990? You guys remember Tech Guy 32? Wonder whatever happened to him. Does AT&T need to respond to Verizon and T-Mobile? Yeah, I'd say so. Things getting pretty stale at AT&T. What do you say, Brandon?
Yup, I think they're getting a little outdated.
I feel like that's the AT&T way, though.
Yup.
Because when I think of AT&T, I think of copper, DSL.
What was that
No,
lady's name, Sneed?
what
The
lady?
video I sent you? Clarlene?
Oh, Claudine. They tried to play Claudine, bro. Oh, my God. They're dead wrong for that one. What y'all think Project 624 is from Verizon? I have no idea. Somebody mentioned it to me, but I've got to peep it out. I got to check it out. I know that Sampath is involved, so DSL, ouch. I'm telling you, man. I don't know. Carlos is trying to tell me that CenturyLink offers like 200 meg DSL in some parts of Vegas. So wherever the hell that's happening, good for them. Price hikes, lol. Uh-huh. All right, dudes. Let's start with today's news. And here it is. Let's hit the screen share and start discussing it. Okay. Can I fix this so that everybody could see it better? Sure can. All right. And I got to be able to read the damn thing. All right, I'm going to go through the numbers. I think what I'll do is I'll stop at some points just to kind of digest the numbers, and then we could discuss them as a panel. All right, T-Mobile leads the industry once again with continued durable customer growth, including best ever Q1 postpaid gross and net additions, translating to outstanding financial growth. Higher gross adds in every category drove industry-leading customer performance, alongside record Q1 diluted EPS, strong net cash provided by operating activities, record Q1 adjusted free cash flow, underscoring Un-carrier's focus on consistent execution and profitable growth. I don't have a problem with them tooting their own horn about what they accomplished. Can we stop with this Un-carrier BS? Why are they still using this word? They aren't uncarriering anything anymore. This when is someone in the industry going to do something about this? Why do they let him get away with this, Brandon?
Oh, I'd say Eugene and the Patchy Beard.
Eugene and the patchy beard.
I
Golly.
don't. I don't know, Sneed. I think I think it's getting olden, but I feel like they want to keep the Uncarrier name because one of the things that Eugene was saying over and over and over in the conference call was we solve pain points, but they really don't. They used to, but now they don't. Like now they just gather things and they put it on the most expensive plan and they say screw the cheap customers. And I think Max Tech Studios posted on his X account that that now they're making customers to get certain promotions go directly to the dealer stores.
My biggest problem with them trying to use this terminology and hang on to this is the fact that number one, they don't have the best plans in the industry anymore.
They
I think
don't.
there's clearly better options elsewhere. Number two, they're no longer including taxes and fees and plan billing. Number three, they walked back price lock, raised pricing on all legacy plans multiple times. Like everything the Uncarrier did, they've undone. So you have to remove Uncarrier, and now it should just say carrier. They have to put a line through the un part. Anyways, postpaid net customer adds of 1.3 million, best ever Q1, best in industry. Postpaid phone net customer additions of 495,000, best in industry. I just thought I'd throw this out there. I think B, it was you that brought it to my attention. They missed. I think the expectation was over 505,000, so they missed on that. Postpaid net account additions of 205,000, best in industry. High-speed internet net customer additions of 424,000, industry best alongside best ever churn. No churn rate given. No number given. We're just going to say things to say them. All right, B, jump in. T-Mobile's numbers.
Worst churn in the industry. They missed on growth.
Yeah, the postpaid churn was 0.91. Verizon was 0.90. AT&T was 0.83. And then they missed the postpaid phone net ads by 10,000 or something, or whatever it was. Go ahead. Elaborate, sir.
I mean, that's all I got, man. I mean, they missed on growth, and they had the highest churn in the industry.
Do you think this is a sign of more in this direction, or do you think this is a one-off?
More than likely. More than likely
it continues?
Yes.
Brandon, what say you?
Really surprised on the home internet subscribers, but again, they should should start seeing how many customers return, but they'll never do it. Kind of an interesting quarter that they say that they had the best quarter in the company's history, but I know that Comcast said that they had announced that they lost 200 broadband subscribers, so I'm sure a lot of them went towards T-Mobile and Verizon.
Yeah, Comcast, they're in trouble in their core business.
They suck at keeping the customer. I will admit that. I mean, a lot of the times when you call customer service, they literally don't even want you to talk to them. They literally want you to chat with them, and the chat people are literally like don't know anything. And when you hear them, if you ever talk to a Comcast rep, they're foreign people.
They're from Madagascar?
Yeah, basically.
Let's do the financials.
Mm-hmm.
Service revenues of $16.9 billion grew 5% year over year, best in industry. Postpaid service revenues, $13.6 billion, 8% growth year over year, best in industry. Net income of 3.0 grew 25% year over year, best ever Q1. Diluted earnings per share of $2.58 grew 29% year over year, best ever Q1. Core adjusted EBITDA, $8.3 billion, grew 8% year over year, best in industry growth. Net cash provided by operating activities, $6.8 billion, grew 35% year over year. Adjusted free cash flow of $4.4 billion, grew 31% year over year, and best ever Q1. All right, so to discuss the free cash flow, if we're going to rank the companies, number 3 was AT&T. I think they came in at $3.1 billion. Number 2 was Verizon. They came in at $3.6 billion, I believe. And T-Mobile came in at number 1 with $4.4 billion. And I don't think this has ever happened before. I don't think T-Mobile's ever led the industry in free cash flows. It has officially happened. B, jump in.
Meh.
What do you mean, meh?
That's what I mean.
What do you mean, meh? This is the first time ever these guys have led the industry in free cash flows. That's not meh. That can't be your response.
So what do you want me to say?
I mean, you got to respond to that number. It's the first time it's ever happened.
I did respond. I gave you my response. I gave you my response. That's my response.
We have been critical of T-Mobile's inability to sustainably grow free cash flows. And in the last 2 years, they have consistently grown free cash flows. And for the first time ever, these guys can generate more free cash flow than AT&T and Verizon.
One quarter. We'll see what happens going forward.
So I'll ask the question again. Is this durable? Is this sustainable? Can T-Mobile continue to outdo their competitors in free cash flows?
We'll see. We'll find out very soon.
I feel they can, Sneed.
Give me your rationale, B. Tell me.
So a lot of people probably lost their shit when they said that they're no longer going to include taxes and fees on the plans. But the company obviously has a steroid marketing scheme where they literally could just highlight the plan and just show somebody what basically a new handset that just came out or whatever, and they could just talk highly about how you can use a damn satellite outside like you're freaking near Simba or something. And 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 a lot and I guess like future customers that are coming from AT&T, Verizon, in some cases, if they don't enjoy the experience on Spectrum Mobile or Xfinity Mobile, they probably won't really notice a difference. I mean, they won't really care because they're used to already paying tax and fees on everything.
So now with all plans not having taxes and fees built into the pricing,
Hmm.
people are going to walk into a T-Mobile store looking to shop and it's still going to look like they're cheaper than Verizon and AT&T though.
I mean, they're still giving you the third free line, but obviously you have to pay for the fourth one if you have a family of four, or you're um selling a line or something.
They're giving out like really good phone deals, right? They're price
Hmm.
competitive. They've got AT&T on their mind. They've got Verizon on their mind. At this point, I think it's pretty clear that T-Mobile responds to AT&T and Verizon when it comes to phone promos. And then on the earnings call today, it was
But
very clear. Like John Deep Fryer mentioned it, Sweaty Armpits mentioned it. Customers are switching for phones. It really isn't about the phone service. It's not even about the plan prices. It's about the phone deals.
and then another thing is, Nee, like sometimes T-Mobile's giving away free phones on the essential plan. So those customers are already paying taxes and fees. And so are like
And
the
they're getting
cus
iPhone 16s.
exactly.
That's what all this is about.
Hmm.
Industry leading growth is literally about phones.
Yeah.
People wanna turn in their broken phones and get new phones.
But here's the catch is that they want your old phone, but they basically want to handcuff you for 2 or 3 years.
Well, T-Mobile's doing 2 years, right?
Yeah, T-Mobile's doing 2 years, but AT&T and Verizon are doing 3 years.
And
So,
AT&T's got your phone locked for 36.
yeah, that's horrible.
I mean, if you're not getting a discount during that time frame, I mean, oof.
Yeah, like for example, if you go out of the country and you want to get a local SIM, your phone is literally a brick. You literally have to pay those $10 a day or
And what do you
12.
think a customer is saying when they see T-Mobile and Verizon adjusting plans and they're just, like, stuck on AT&T?
I mean, I don't know, but I think that most people probably are not going to want to pay a big upfront cost just to basically exit their carrier. And then they have second thoughts. I mean, they have thoughts of what if I don't get that prepaid Visa card or whatever credits they're doing? Because sometimes these carriers say up to 2 months, and then you have the Karens that are on the phone and are like, where's the credits?
Hmm. B, phone deals. It's all about the phone deals, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what's really driving the industry right now.
It
Absolutely.
really is. You're right. I mean, it's when you said driving the industry. I mean, who's being rewarded in the street right now? It's whoever can give the phone deals.
You know what, Snee? You know one thing that I was thinking about earlier. I mean, earlier this week, I was thinking in my head, like, we're really going back to what the industry was back in the day.
Because it was predicated around 2-year upgrades.
Yeah, 2-year upgrades, and now it's 3. So sometimes they'll give you that phone free, or you basically pay two or $300 down, or 5 or 4 or whatever. But
Let's
now they want your old phone that's basically you paid like what, more than likely 1,000 or more.
That's what the
And
value was when you got it. Mhm.
yeah, so basically I mean, what you're basically trading in, if it's in good condition, $600-700.
To kind of round this out, T-Mobile touted their network technology leadership. They've officially rolled out nationwide 5G advanced networking across their standalone 5G network core and all the different carrier aggregation feats, the record-breaking downlink speeds, and the recent field test, network slicing, lower and enhanced latency, all those things. They also mentioned T satellite by name, so I guess it's no longer called Coverage Beyond. They're going to go with T satellite, and they're going to be including that in their 2 premium plans moving forward. That'll be a $10 feature for everybody else. And that'll be $10 for a year. After that year, they're going to pull the pricing lever. I'm assuming they're just going to make it more expensive. And for the first time ever, T-Mobile is citing root metrics. Remember before they said root metrics was paid by the other guys? Paid off? Here we are. Now, all of a sudden, root metrics is the holy grail.
Wow.
Look, since when do they cite root metrics? It's always been open signal. It's always been ookla. Now they're citing root metrics. How ironic. As soon as they start winning root awards, they start mentioning root.
Hey B, what would you do if T-Mobile won your market on root metrics?
No, it would never happen.
All right, let's do the prepaid and any of the other stuff we need to do. All right, so we covered the churn rate for postpaid. It was 0.91. They finished 3 of 3. High-speed broadband, they added 424,000. They now are approaching 7 million customers on the 5G home internet. Prepaid, they added 45,000. Prepaid churn is 2.68. Here's some of those numbers. If anybody was curious. All right, let's take a look at what else? There was something I wanted to cover. Oh, they guided 18,000 for free cash flow in terms of that metric, and then they also guided to $9.5 billion for the network and capex. You guys think that's enough? B, do you think that's enough? $9.5 billion for their wireless network?
Nope.
Do you think that's going to start showing up in some of this root metrics and open signal and ookla and stuff?
It's been showing up for a long time, to be honest with you, Sneed. They haven't really had any success in root metrics. I'm not even sure why they're even doubting that. They barely went anywhere. So, I mean, I
They've
don't
won
know what they're
some.
about.
They never used to win any.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that they're going to continue to win. Neither Verizon or AT&T are finished building, and T-Mobile's about done. So there's no telling, or there's no definitive reason for anybody to believe that they're going to continue whatever small success that they've had in root metrics, because they don't want to increase capex and they don't really have anything else to deploy that they're willing to deploy. I mean, they're sitting on some spectrum, but they don't seem willing to want to deploy it.
They haven't built any C-band, and they've been sitting on those licenses. Not doing much with millimeter wave. Small cells, we're seeing some of it in some major markets, areas where they have extreme share. I mean, they're doing some good things in the network piece. They've basically blanketed the nation with N41. their mid band. I mean, they've had a longer time to do it, but got to call a spade a spade. It's out there. I want to discuss a comment from CEO Mike Sievert. So they just changed plans, right? They have retired Go 5G. They've retired Magenta. They've retired T-Mobile One. They retired Simple Choice. Like, if you have those plans, you obviously can keep them. They have had pricing levers, usage to all those plans and all those things. Now they have the experience beyond, the experience more, and all those things. Mike Sievert said they do all this because they are trying to crush customer pain points. What I'm trying to figure out is, if you were trying to kill customer pain points, why would you introduce taxes and fees? Like, how long does the industry have to just stand by in fear of saying the truth about their competitors? Like, it's not my job to come up here on my platform and call for truth. Like, where's John Stanky to talk about how it's disingenuous to call it a price lock when your prices are going up? Where is Hans to question how this new plan from T-Mobile is better than his plan at VZ? Like, where are these guys? Where are the commercials, the marketing, the advertisements, their opportunities to speak at these earnings? Why aren't they leveraging these moments to build themselves up and to confront the straight up lying that happens at certain providers?
One thing I'll say, Sneed, is that one thing that Eugene and Tim Cook have in common is they love talking highly about themselves, about their companies. And Apple hasn't even finished the Apple AI, and I believe there is some lawsuits happening. But Eugene and T-Mobile love talking about so highly about the company and consumers and pain points, and I think that's why they still have that uncarrier name in their heads, when it, like, they haven't really made anything differently. I mean, yeah, the most expensive plan gives you 250 gigs, Apple TV, and all this other stuff, but how many people are actually using it or paying for it?
So check this out.
Hmm.
This is direct quotes from Eugene. He described the price increases, right? Because he was asked about it. I think it was a question from an investor or an analyst or something, and he said, there's churn rate associated with price ups. AT&T saw it, Verizon saw it, T-Mobile saw it, and he's saying, what is it? Like how do you deal with it? How do you kind of set this up? And Eugene said, we talk to our customers, we explain everything to them, and then they stay. They understand. What the hell is he talking about? They got industry worst churn for a couple of quarters in the last, what, 3 or 4? So again, how you going to just straight up lie? We told our customers, they're cool with it, they understand. Bro, people were pissed when they raised prices because they had a price lock, but they lied. And when are, especially Verizon, I don't care, because AT&T doesn't have a price lock. So there's no pricing guarantee, but Verizon does one, and they hold up their end of the bargain. When are we going to start talking about that? Well, I mean, how long can this go on? Why is everybody so afraid of them? Why? How is there not marketing material on this? How's there not advertising material on this? B, come on.
I mean, I've been saying it for years, so I don't know what to say. And that I haven't already said. You guys know where I stand. I don't I don't enjoy T-Mobile at all. So
I'm happy to see competition in the marketplace. As of right now, the only competition, though, is relative to phone deals. It's whoever gives you the best phone deal when you go into a store, you go online and shop. But everything else is just straight up lies.
they're a weird company, man. How in the world do you get postpaid revenue of 13.6 billion? Of course, everything is best in industry, best in whatever. But your free cash flow was 4 dot whatever.
4.4.
Must have some pretty cheap expenses. How does that work? They were able to keep that much of what they brought in. They
All
cook
right.
the books, man. They cook the books. They cook the
Okay.
books.
They can't cook these books. This is called an 8K, or no, this one's the 10K. This is what gets reported to the SEC. They can't lie about this, B. Can we tear this apart?
You're right, and I completely agree. I acknowledge that I don't have any evidence behind what I'm saying. But at the same time, you tell me how you were able to keep over $4 billion. You only made 13.
So
Well,
so
hey,
the so the financials I can't speak to, but I know for a fact that those free lines have been used to boost the growth numbers for years. And we learned today that T-Mobile's ticker, their share price, is 100% connected to their growth numbers. Because if I go to the T-Mobile pricing action from when they reported earnings today, here it is. It's on the screen. Here's T-Mobile's day from the open of today's market. They opened at $259 at 9:30 a.m. $259. Everything was going swimmingly through the day. In fact, I think around 1 in the afternoon, they peaked at 263. All right, a little bit of looks like maybe some selling out in front of the earnings. And then at 4 p.m., their stock went from $262 at close to $249. And then I think it just after close, after hours, it's now trading at 247 or 248. The street dinged them for not hitting their growth metrics. The growth metric that looks like was hurt was the phone net ads. Projection was over 500,000. They were just slightly under, and they made them pay. They lost an estimated, remember B, I calculated this, an estimated $15 billion in market cap. They are a $300 billion market cap business. So they lost about $15 billion after hours today. Moose, what up?
Oh man, what a day. What a week. There's a lot of stuff going down, dog. A lot of stuff.
You see the street made T-Mobile pay today, Moose.
Remember what we talked about back in 2022, 2023? We said the day that T-Mobile actually has competition is the day that they will continuously lose stock value. That's why it is imperative that they execute the transaction that they have been wanting to do via the stock. And we all know which one that is.
You really
They
think that's the most likely outcome?
they have to buy
Cable merger
Charter.
is the end game.
Don't think about it like a cable merger.
What do you
Think
mean?
about it like
It's a wireline ownership.
buying a sustainable business that can offload your wireless situation that you have right now. You can have a one device that has cable coming in, or in the future, it might even be, you know, upgraded to fiber directly to the premises, right? Just hypothetically, right? Let's say that. I doubt it, but let's say for any new build and further, right? It could be fiber. Then for internet backup, you have fixed wireless home internet, right? But there, remember, and we've been talking about this so many times on the podcast. Spectrum is a finite resource.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so many homes in a sector, in a one part of the tower, that's actually going to be able to connect via the spectrum, or else you're going to have to go buy more spectrum, which means putting more antennas onto the cell sites. And remember,
Well,
there's
you can't even get it, bro. It just isn't there.
exactly, there's limited space on the cell site, there's limited rack space. So anyways, there's unlimited potential when you have a wireline option. Unlimited potential.
Did you hear what Sweaty Armpits said about fiber today?
What do you say?
He said it is the most elegant solution for home broadband.
It's the most what?
Elegant.
See?
I've never heard of wireline referred to as elegant.
Yep.
Yo,
So
V, would you ever use that word to describe wireline?
I never heard that in my life.
Moose, have you?
I mean, I love glass, but I don't think about it as elegant,
Right.
But here, let me just say this. I am very surprised that T-Mobile only did 400, almost 500,000. And by the way, this is in a quarter that I think over 1 million people were switching this quarter. Over
In
a
the
million.
switcher pool.
Yes, the switcher pool was way more than 1 million people. Because when is Comcast and Charter Spectrum's earnings?
Comcast reported today.
Okay, how many net adds of wireless did they do?
300,000.
Okay, so we're already at 1 million, and not including Charter.
I think Charter typically does more than Comcast.
Maybe, especially with free lines and all this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
they've been like around the 500, 600,000 mark.
Right. So let me tell you this, okay?
So this would mean there'd be almost 200 million switchers? 2 million switchers?
No, I wouldn't say 2 million.
1.5?
Yeah, like 1.5 switchers. 1.5. This probably was the most activity we've ever seen in a first quarter.
It's all
And
because of
that's
phones, Moose.
well, there's a couple of different reasons. Number one, the
Price
tariff
action?
situation, the tariff scare, right? The way that I think about it is it was like this: heavy promotions across the board, right? Then you had the tariff situation that caused a panic of like, hey, I need to get this phone before prices go up, because that was what the social media and then the traditional media, like, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, whatever, right? They were doing this narrative of, oh my God, your iPhone is going to cost $2,000. You should buy it now.
Yeah,
Right.
the fear mongering, right?
Right. Fear mongering. Then there was a element of, oh, Verizon raised their prices, T-Mobile raised their prices, everybody's raising their prices. You know what? I'm going to leave. And they did. You clearly saw that they left, because guess what? T-Mobile would have been even higher than 400, almost 500,000 net ads. And they're going to continue suffering because of their ill-timed moves, in my opinion. Because, people might not know this, but $5 per line is actually a big deal, Chacha. And by the way, getting rid of taxes and fees, that's even more of a big deal.
Oh, it's huge. It completely changes the pricing structure in so many cities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you have multiple negatives now for T-Mobile. There's no reason, absolutely no reason, why you should be on T-Mobile if you can get a better deal on Verizon or AT&T, or even, US Mobile, Spectrum, using the exact same cell sites. Doesn't matter the QCI. It's just about price at that point. If you're switching from Verizon postpaid to any of their multiple options of NBNO, it's purely based on price. Purely.
100%. 100%. Or
100%.
cable. Or cable.
Yeah, any cable. That's what I'm saying. Any one of their MVNOs
Yeah.
or cable, right? Right.
Mhm.
And then here's the other thing too. You also don't care about your phone because if you
But hold on,
did,
Moose. But hold on. Before you finish this,
yeah,
how do I reconcile with T-Mobile now charging taxes and fees where I'm going to have probably a $4 recovery fee, whatever the hell that thing is, and then
yeah.
taxes are going to likely be somewhere between 7.5% and maybe up to 13% in some places. So now with the customer switching and shopping, the decision just got more convoluted because there's no way that T-Mobile is the clear-cut price leader when I can qualify for a couple of things from AT&T, and then Verizon lets me mix and match, and I've getting great phone deals from them too.
Both AT&T and Verizon mix and match, and that's the downfall
And the
of
phone deals
T-Mobile
on all those
and the phone
offers, right?
deals, right? And by the way, even on business, Verizon and AT&T are more competitive than T-Mobile on business plans, like the small business plans, right? So we have now
They said
the
that they did the best quarter of enterprise ever and the best business growth ever this quarter.
yeah, that's they could say whatever they want, but if that was truly the case, then why are we only at 490 whatever, right? Isn't it 495, 498?
Yeah.
Something like that, right?
Mhm.
They should be in the 700,000s. And the reason why the stock price tanked was because people realize now T-Mobile is running out of subscribers. And by the way, the main way that T-Mobile is getting subscribers nowadays is through those free lines. Even though they claim that there's only one free line per account now, there's no way.
No way.
Because there's no way it's just
On
one.
all of the accounts on average?
No, like you're only going to be able to add a free line. So, okay, so my buddy called
How
in.
many lines total on the account
On average,
on average?
I think that on T-Mobile, people have 6 to 9 lines,
So
and
that's definitely at least 2 free lines.
no, they have at least 4 lines because they're probably
What?
from Magenta days, right?
All
The
right,
Magenta.
I gotta talk to Dan on this. Dan, what does the typical account have for free lines when you used to access it back in the day?
Um, Say that question one more time. I'm trying to understand.
How many free lines would you typically see on an account at T-Mobile on average?
Between 2 and 4 lines.
Holy moly, Moose, you were right.
Yep.
Sometimes I would see a 4 line account, 4 paid lines with 4 free lines. It was like an 8 line plan with 4 of them being free.
Yep. Exactly what I was thinking. Is that half of the lines are not paid for.
And
It
and
was
and do you
it
know
was
if
so
those lines
bad
have
that
usage? Like people are actually using those free ones?
so a lot of times what would happen is somebody would call to cancel a line and they didn't even know they had that line because it was free. So I did see probably about 25 to 50% non-utilization on some accounts that the line wasn't even in use.
Exactly. And they claim that it's a line, even though I don't count free lines as actual connections because, to Dan's point, most of them don't even have any usage.
So they're just literally doing it to just show the growth.
Can I
To
also bring up a
Mhm.
point though?
Yeah.
So remember all those free lines for the test app, the 3 month free trial?
Mhm.
I suspect that they're counting that in their numbers too.
Oh, that's even more
But they're
dangerous.
not really ads though.
They're a number.
Like even a free
It's
line is an
service that
ad, but
works. I don't know. They're pad their numbers.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Now,
Chacha, there has to be an investigation on T-Mobile. They
now,
can't
I think it's
have
fraud.
there could be at 40% free lines now. Remember how
okay.
you estimated 30% all
Yeah,
in?
I estimated the modern plans is 30%.
Yeah,
Legacy
but
plans, I guess it could be higher.
50 on the legacy plans.
That's just my estimate because a lot of times someone would get a text message. So I worked there pre pre merger, during the pandemic, and after the merger, right? So I got to experience all 3 different versions of T-Mobile, right?
Mhm.
Pre-merger, they were more the end carrier. They took whatever it took to help the customer, right? During the pandemic, they had to because the government forced them to. After the merger went through, they waited until about a few years in, and then they started adding fees on. They started changing the plans. If you have a certain plan, then you don't get your free lines anymore. And I started seeing the writing on the wall, and I was like, they're not the Un-carrier anymore.
So basically, they cooked the books like I said before.
I mean, in regards to the growth numbers, I suppose, yeah.
I think they were. I had proof. I worked for them 3 years.
Shout out to EM Tech. Thanks for the super chat. He said, "Preach, Moose."
Look, I'm going to be honest.
I wish I would have asked Kelly Fields or what's his name, John Fryer, when they came to our center. I wish I would have just directly asked them.
I'll be straight up. I think that the reason why they're counting those free lines as an actual ad is because it gets access to T-Mobile Tuesdays, and that is a advertisement pathway, you know?
I mean, I don't. But now they're starting to generate these free cash flows, though, Moose. Did you see the number?
Well,
4.4
Yeah, I did.
billion?
I did. 4.4 billion.
people are actually signing up for those premium plans, and I can't figure out why. The network is not. The network is fine in the cities, but from my travels, T-Mobile still has room to grow. When I'm in northern Minnesota, still roaming on AT&T. Still.
And that roaming access is weak sauce, right?
Yeah, so like for instance, so I was at a state park on the northern Canadian border about 18 months ago. I was on the lake in a canoe, and the only signal I could get on the shore was AT&T. And because it was roaming, it was 3G, and I had no signal. So the only towers were FirstNet towers right on the border of Canada and Minnesota. That was it. Verizon was really sketchy, and T-Mobile didn't really have much.
So they still haven't really addressed the network coverage gaps. But
Well,
they say that they're spending enough money. They said they were spending $9.5 billion this year in capex.
I'll have to go back and report and see if they've converted cabin country. But I will say rural parts of Kansas are still there's still gaps.
That was supposed to be the thing. You know, if I was going to be addressing the network as any type of contributor to the decisions at T-Mobile, it was going to be the close the coverage gap. Like, I get it. You want to have the most capacity on your network and you want to be able to monetize, but there's people that still choose VZ and AT&T because of size of network, availability, reliability.
Yeah. Well, for me, I got tired of driving through the ranching part of Kansas and not having signal. And now that I have Verizon, I don't drop signal even once.
Pratik brings up the point. Whatever the thesis, guys, you can't ignore the financials.
Yeah.
Well, so okay, let's take this into consideration. T-Mobile did not have to do any year, any condition situations this year, right? This quarter, right? They also started very late the switcher credit, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it that way, there was let's look at another thing too. What happened in their price up, right? Their legacy price up. That's a significant amount of boost in their revenues, right?
That isn't that going to severely impact Q2?
It's gonna severely impact Q2 in the sense that people are gonna be leaving. But I'm
So
talking
the
about,
elevated churn rate, I mean, we'll probably see that continue.
wasn't there 1 month at least in March where the price up happened?
I think that's when notifications went to customers.
interesting because I have a buddy of mine that he had his first bill on March. That's why he's leaving this month. He's leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. So it showed up in the last bill, and now he's shopping.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'll say this, Sneed. When I had them pre October, before Black Friday, when we switched, we got hit with the. We weren't unaffected because we had the Magenta plan, and so we weren't affected. But the only thing they raised prices on were the home internet and my watch and tablet lines. They raised it $3 a month on every one of those lines. Um, Scratch that. It wasn't on the home internet. It was just on the tablet and the smartwatch.
So
All
what?
of a
Your bill
sudden,
went up
instead
20
of
bucks or something?
it went up about $6 to $10. I didn't switch because of it, but if we had gone up to say $5 a line, we would have switched, 100%.
You switched because of phone deals.
Yes, they gave us a free phone with a trade-in. They became so good that we switched, got a free phone, and saved $20 a month.
So what's working right now? AT&T, T-Mobile. What's working? What do you say, Moose? What's working?
Well, number one, you have a situation where you can take advantage of discounts. Okay. Verizon is not discounting any of their plans to the same level as AT&T or T-Mobile.
Is that why they have the losses?
There's multiple reasons why Verizon has the losses. Number one, primary reason is because even Sampath in the podcast with Nilay Patel from The Verge, right? Decoder, everybody can go listen to it. Sampath literally said that they have a 40% premium in EBITDA on their rate plans compared to the competition. If they just reduce that 40% by 10%, I bet you anything they will slow down their churn. Come out with new plans, get rid of the damn media features and all this other crap that you're subsidizing because it's not free anymore. You're subsidizing it. Get rid of it. Just give a smaller discount and reduce your EBITDAs by 10%. And I bet you anything that people are going to continue to stay at Verizon.
A 10% EBITDA drop would result in plans going down by $5 a line.
$3 to $5, correct. If Verizon is serious about growth on their postpaid business, they have to figure out a way. Which, by the way, Sampath literally said that is his main mission is to stop the bleeding. But
But
unfortunately,
why are we continuing to stop the bleeding every year? Like, why does the year always have to start with blood? Like, why can't we just buck the trend one time? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, why do we have to be fighting back? Why can't we be proactive? If I'm VZ and I know what it, like if you look at the last 3 years, Moose, Q1s have had price increases, legacy price hikes, and they've had promotions pulled back. Why does that have to keep happening?
well, I'm telling you, they increased their My Plan right before their price lock guarantee. That happened in February. Okay. And that I knew for a fact. I had people that switched from AT&T to Verizon only to be like, wait a minute, I'm now spending $30 more for 10 lines just because I went from literally 1 week to another. They were like, fuck this, I'm moving back. Because at that point it was cheaper AT&T with all the discounts for 10 lines. They were literally at $22 a line
Uh-huh.
on AT&T currently with the $25 discount or 25% off.
Sneed, we've already talked about this. Trends are already normalizing. It's already stabilizing. at Verizon.
You mean thus far through Q2?
Even in going back to last year, we've already discussed this.
Yeah, but it's one thing to have a slightly elevated churn because of legacy price hikes. But when you're like the net losses are so high, that means you weren't competing in additions.
Yet they were still second in churn for the quarter.
No, I understand the churn rate, but what I'm saying is it's higher year over year, right? Weren't they like .86 or something last Q1?
I'm not sure what they were in Q1 last year. I'll have to go back, I guess, and look at it. But what I will say is this quarter, they weren't last in churn, even with the losses that they had.
Yeah, that was T-Mobile. T-Mobile was third of 3.
Mm-hmm. And they grew, right? Supposedly.
And well, the total net is that they did.
Supposedly. So one could reasonably conclude, based on that information, the sky's not falling. Generally, and I'm not exactly sure why, first quarters of Verizon generally are like that. They lose customers in the first quarter. We'll see what happens in the second. With the promotions that they have right now, to Moose's point, they'll probably eat in to what the other two guys are growing at, or force them to respond. T-Mobile already has. We'll see what AT&T does.
Right.
We'll see. AT&T doesn't really have a whole lot to play with other than free phones. We'll see whether they decide to do something else.
But they
maybe they'll do price lock.
and they asked them literally at their earnings conference about that, and they said this is what customers want. And then T-Mobile said the same thing today.
Okay, we'll see. Numbers will tell the story, I guess. Mostly.
Well, that's what the numbers are saying. Like they're saying that the switcher pool and how to get customers and how to grow was connected to devices.
Mm-hmm.
Anecdotally, that was my experience, Sneed.
Then why did T-Mobile do a price lock at all, ever?
I think that they don't want VZ doing anything better than them. At least the perception that they're doing something better than them.
Well, we'll see what happens in the second quarter. But based on what we see right now, the value proposition of Verizon is pretty strong. They're giving people the phones, which is what we just said people want. They're giving people the price lock, and they're giving them the option to be able to get streaming perks too if they want at a discounted price. Nobody else is doing that. Not at the same scale.
We have a 3-year price lock, Sneed. We're not leaving. We'll probably stay for a good long time.
What plans do you guys have?
We have the Unlimited Plus.
I will say this. That price lock is just on the base rate. If hypothetically the connectivity fee or whatever goes up, that's going to be interesting.
I 100% expect T-Mobile to play with that. 100%.
So now it seems like Verizon's on the offensive instead of being on the defensive. It's a good thing.
I agree with that statement. 100%.
Well, they have to try to be on the offensive. However, the problem is that T-Mobile has deeper pockets in the sense of
shit.
T-Mobile literally has more.
I didn't see the receipts.
T-Mobile literally has more marketing budget, and what I mean by marketing budget is also promotional budget. Okay, and AT&T is also very aggressive too in this space. Remember
what?
Wait, let me explain. AT&T was the only company to give a free S25 Ultra. That's a fact.
Phones? So we're talking about phones again. Okay, Verizon's already doing free phones. So that's already been matched. Then you have the price guarantee. Then you have the option for discounted streaming bundles and services as well. That's the best value proposition in the industry.
AT&T what about if I don't want those streaming services?
They don't have to get them. It's not a
You don't have to get them, but that means this is the thing that Verizon fails to realize.
Have it for that customer.
This is the thing that Verizon fails to realize. If I am a normal customer and I don't want all those extra add-ons, even if I don't have to pay for them. Hold on. Haven't finished the thought. If I'm a normal customer and I just want connectivity, why do I have to pay a surcharge for my rate plan? Because I am supposedly getting a slight discount if I buy it from Verizon. But what Verizon should do is this. Remove the subsidization from the streaming services and reduce the cost of the rate plan.
That doesn't make sense.
That's something they don't want to do, dude. They don't want to discount their work. They'd rather, in my opinion, I think they'd rather give away in a 2-for-1 the perks before they give away the network like that.
Some companies want to make money. AT&T's been stuck at like $30 billion every single quarter. They can't seem to figure out ways to increase top line revenue. It's almost always flat. For all the growth and all of the whatever, they can't grow revenue. It's part of the reason why I guess they don't want to play in the bundling of streaming perks or anything. They just want to do phones. So for all the internet this and the broadband that and customers want this, they can't grow revenue. T-Mobile allegedly can. We know Verizon has. And like I said, even despite all those losses, still number 2 in the industry in churn this quarter. And they're still within striking distance of AT&T. It's not like AT&T's at .1. They did .83. Verizon's at .9. It's within striking distance. But when you talk about a $3 to $4 billion difference in top line revenue, for example, that's a tough road to hoe for AT&T.
Moose, do people leave all carriers for the same reasons, or do they leave certain carriers because of certain reasons?
That's a loaded question, man. People leave for multiple reasons, all the above that you mentioned.
But like, is there like a specific problem at T-Mobile that people typically leave because of? Is there a specific problem that people typically leave Verizon for? Is there a typical problem that AT&T suffers from that leads to churn? Like, is it unique and different for each one? Like, I'm just trying to say is if a company A can identify the problem and they address it, does it then stop the bleeding? And then carrier B, is their problem different and caused by a different thing is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like I said,
there is Sneed.
If Verizon fixes their pricing, people will continue to stay. If on T-Mobile, get rid of your down payments, and I'm not paying for the way that it's happened in the last 2 months is, quote, I'm not paying for this service because it's not justifiable. I'm not going to pay Verizon prices on T-Mobile.
Moose, the bills are going to go up with these new plans.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Verizon's already addressed pricing by locking it for 3 years. What else you got?
What you got, Moose?
In order for me to get a free 16 Pro, I need to be on the top plan on Verizon. On a
I think we lost them. No. Come back, Moose. All right, Moose is in the shadow realm. We're trying to get him back. Moose.
Repeat the question, Steve.
Well, he was describing why a customer was leaving, and I don't know.
I'll say this: when I took a lot of those calls, Sneed, because my customers were in the heartland, it was mostly coverage related.
And how did you retain them without having a network?
You couldn't. There were sometimes I had to tell customers to leave.
What up, Los?
Yo, before Moose finishes that comment about you got to be on the highest plan on Verizon, that's not true anymore.
Nope.
You can be on any plan. Even my 2005 plan qualifies for a free iPhone on them.
So what else are we talking about? What other stupid stuff?
Verizon just changed that recently. Any plan. You could be on a regional plan from back in the 90s, and you still qualify for a free phone on Verizon.
So what other stupid stuff we talking about now? I mean, come on, man. I understand. I acknowledge they had losses in Q1. Water is wet. What else is new? That's what happens with Verizon. In the first quarter, they generally bleed some customers. All right. Again, despite that, they were number 2 in the industry in churn, and they led in almost every category as far as finances are concerned. Sky's not falling there. They got some pretty competitive pricing and promotions right now, and they still give the best overall value proposition. If you want the perks, take them. If you don't, fine. Pick your connectivity plan, get your phone and go. But you have the ability
get some home internet too.
Yeah, but you have the ability to be able to get the perks if you want them. In comparison, AT&T doesn't offer any perks. They give you phone and connectivity. That's it. And I don't know, man. I think we're putting hairs here.
I think the argument is that, and this is what like Moose was saying, is that the stuff that's working in the industry right now has nothing to do with the perks. So I'm getting, and I really don't want to speak for him on his behalf, but it sounds like he's saying that Verizon's wasting their time and effort on perks and my plan when they really should just be focusing on the things that resonate with the customer, which seems like phone and discounted service.
Well, they did that. They price locked, and now they're giving away free phones. So they're doing that. But I mean, it seems like Verizon can walk and chew gum at the same time. They're also doing perks.
So you're saying that just Moose is off base?
I disagree with Moose respectfully. I do. Yeah. I think he's wrong.
All right. Well, guess we could answer some questions here. What's up, Sneed and panelists? I'm hoping that there will not be a 2025 network outage like last year, because that disrupted a lot of people for just that one day it lasted. I think he's talking about the AT&T network outage, right? It was pretty big deal. It was a pretty big deal. I think they're ready for any type of threats like those now at this point. You know, you always learn from those experiences. John Carlos says that Moose is wrong. He should be looking at Verizon's website. He'll see different. Toolman1990 said B, they had huge losses in Q1. So again, B, I think it's about the magnitude of the losses. They were concerning to some people.
So I understand. I'm sure they were concerning to investors and all that kind of stuff as well. However, despite that one KPI, that one metric, everything else they did pretty well in.
Yeah.
They beat on just about everything. Earnings per share, top line revenue. They beat on free cash flow. They beat on wireless service revenue. They beat on internet growth. I mean, guys, what do you want me to say? I mean, I didn't write it. That's what they said. That's what they said they did. That's pretty good. And as far as the promotions that are out there right now that Verizon's offering, they are very competitive, and they forced T-Mobile to respond. If AT&T doesn't, so be it. But they definitely made T-Mobile respond, so somebody was paying attention. You give away free chicken, people gonna eat it. This is America. We love chicken. And then from there, you got price locks for 3 years too. Who would have thought? I never thought I'd see the day Verizon would do something like that, but they did. They have. It's here. What else are you going to complain about? You get your phone. You get some discounted perks if you want them.
They addressed a couple of customer pain points with international roaming data, hotspot data. They did a lot with that ultimate plan.
Yeah, I mean, what else? What now?
A lot of chicken and thigh, man. A lot of thigh leg.
What else, man? What else? What else is there to complain about? Like, what else? What now?
JPA Tech says, how about some Verizon employer discounts like AT&T?
Man, I don't know. Start your own telco and do some yourself. I don't know. Start a telco, dude. I mean, go ahead. I don't know.
Hey, I don't know. So we gotta talk about this situation, sir. So
okay, all
right. Sam Pad just threw a bombshell that's getting everybody thinking right now. He threw it about a couple hours ago. It's called Project 624. And
No
he said,
details, or did he provide details?
this is exactly what it says. Hold on, let me pull it back up here real quick, and I'll tell you exactly what it says. All right, so he put Project 624, all about the customer, coming soon. So the next move that Verizon's going to do is going to be about the customer.
So this could be uncarrier-ish?
That's what I'm thinking. The way he put it, I mean, listen to it. Project 624, all about the customer, coming soon.
What else are they going to do? I mean, dress and drag and do the hula? I mean, what
Oh, no.
what else are they going to give away? What now?
Bro,
Okay, so can we all agree that things at Verizon have changed since Sampath got there in the consumer group?
They've absolutely changed.
Okay,
hey,
and go ahead.
this is what I'm thinking is Sampath right now is trying to prove himself that he can run the company proper because I think he's going to be taking over that CEO position. That's just me. And he is a well-fitted man for it. Well-fitted man.
I mean, I believe the same thing. You know, it's either they're going to be him or Tony. I lean more towards Sampath. I think he's a man of solutions. Actually, let me get to this real quick. Pratik said, Sneed, what happens once U.S. cellular integration happens? How will it impact T-Mobile U.S. financials? So, I mean, obviously, they're going to see a boost in some areas. It's not going to help their ARPU. It's not going to help their ARPA. I think it helps potentially just with network reach. And I think just the spectrum holdings. So you create more capacity. And I think you can monetize that through broadband. So I don't know, maybe you see a slight bump in revenues, right? Because of the additional customers. And I think home broadband too. And it just helps their network. I think it just makes them better in those places, allows them to help maybe take share from Verizon and AT&T, right? Instant connectivity upgrades. But that's probably it.
AT&T and Verizon got some spectrum from that deal too. The only thing that T-Mobile got was the entire, the company, as far as like the stores and the customers. I mean, I don't think Verizon and AT&T really wanted that. They just wanted the spectrum. So everybody benefits from U.S. Cellular's demise. I think it's kind of a wash. Everybody just gets a network improvement in the Midwest and all that kind of stuff. So it's a wash.
Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. I tried to kind of think about some of those scenarios. Max says customer service is a big problem at VZ. When something happens, I always have to file an executive relations complaint. Overseas customer service is useless. I've had those troubles too, Max. I have had those troubles too, so I know what you mean.
Hey, Sneed.
What up?
You know what I'm thinking, bro? I'm thinking this is probably going to be one of the next moves. So, all right. So, Brandon and I saw a little teaser on T-Mobile when they put the new plans about 5G, additional capacity, something about where they hinted that it might be a charge later on the plan details on the essentials, on the new essentials plan. But this is what I'm thinking, bro. Is I think they're gonna start doing to where like the My Business plans, bro. The new My Business plan right now, they'll give you a nice cheap rate. Let's say like right now, 4 lines plus, I think it's like $20. But then if you want ultra wideband, you got to pay $10 add on. I think they're gonna start doing a la carte to make the plans a lot cheaper.
Okay, so does
You buy
unlimited
the
talking text cost $15?
Yeah, I would say about 15. Yeah, I would say that's about fair.
Okay, and then $10 for 5G ultra wideband puts you at like $25.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what? We pay for hotspot data, $10.
It comes. I think the plan comes with 5 gigs on it, and if you want 100 gigs, I think it's like five or $7. I can't remember. I saw something.
So I could build a modestly featured plan for about $50 a line.
That's if you wanted it like full shabam, yeah. But if you just need the couple of perks,
Keep you
like
closer to 40.
like if you just need your ultra wideband and that's it, bro, you can actually keep it at like 25, $30, bro.
Take the exit.
B, what do you think about a granular plan build like that? Maybe not the dollar amount, just being able to build your plan.
I mean, do customers want to do that?
Well, if that's being floated around, then can that be done? Can that be leveraged? Can that be monetized that way?
I guess, but I mean, I thought everybody just wanted unlimited everything. I don't know.
No, this is what I heard, bro. The reason why they did this on the business side, bro, is because a lot of small businesses were like, I don't need my employees to have all this and that, all the doodles. I just need them to be able to accept a task. The data is just enough to accept a task and to be able to get the calls and the texts. That's it. I don't need it to have all these blow whistles and all this other stuff. And they responded, and now they have it's called the my biz plan or something like that, and it's all a la carte. And they
So
made it really
that
cheap.
becomes something that makes its way to the consumer side.
I don't know, maybe, and I'm thinking that maybe T-Mobile's waiting on the sidelines too about that, because I mean it is hinted on their essential saver term about the 5G. Brandon has a screenshot. I'll have to send it to you, but where it said that, like in the terms of later charging for the 5G ultra capacity layer.
All right. Who has the best of the rest of the year? What do you think, Los? We still saw the earnings from all three. Who's going to have the best next 3 quarters?
That's going to be tough, bro, because right now the competition's ramping up even more. I don't know.
It is.
Yeah. So I can't answer that right now. Let me see one more quarter and then I'll be able to answer for the rest of the year. So right now I can't answer that.
Dan, 5G tech. Which carrier has the best rest of year outlook?
I think it's Boost Mobile. Nobody's talking about them.
Shit. You want to talk about Boost?
Yes.
Do you think that the bleeding has stopped and they can now grow?
I think the bleeding is going to continue, but they got only where they can go is up.
I don't know, dude. It's been down for a long time. So you think magically we're going to head up?
Well, I think their marketing team, no offense to the guys over there, need to actually figure out how to market their standalone 5G network. It's pretty good.
Uh-huh.
I've tested it. They just need to actually market it.
Interesting.
It's a really good network. It's uncongested, very fast. It works great.
Are the other guys
they just don't know how to market it. Yes. Verizon
shit.
especially, B. I'm sorry. My experience in the Twin Cities is basically Verizon is congested when I need it. T-Mobile worked, and AT&T is the third stepchild that doesn't work. And Boost always works.
All right. B, who's going to have the best rest of year outlook?
No, I don't know.
Come on, man. You got Q2, Q3, Q4.
I think Verizon's got a shot.
I do too. I mean, Sampath and Hans said that the rest of the year is shaping up nicely. They like where they stand. Hans with the momentum, Sampath with the plan. I think they got a big upside year. I think AT&T continues on their path, and the T-Mobile piece is the most unknown because we just saw them not hit their growth numbers for the first time in a long time. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen them not hit a growth number. So this is a weird place, and they've got industry worst churn. So if I have any concerns, it's that this becomes trend from T-Mobile, or do they correct course and get things right? For VZ, I think it's kind of like what Dan was saying about upside. I think for AT&T, I think they're just humming along, focused on fiber and all those things, and getting their Ericsson from Nokia switches, you know. All right. Anything else for the good of the order, guys? We're 1 hour and 22 minutes in. Pretty good show. We covered a lot of stuff. Anything else?
I don't know. I don't think so.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Please do like and share this video. Subscribe if you're new here. Don't forget, we've got content that drops all the time. Tons of videos, testing networks, covering plans, keeping you up with all the telco news, things going on on the corporate side of things. And, we try to be a one-stop shop for all things postpaid, prepaid, everything, the whole shebang. Thanks for being a part of it. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks to all my mods for being there, holding it down. Thanks for everybody who is in the live chat discussing today's topics. We'll catch you guys soon on the next stream. Peace.